In terms of opening statement, haven't had a lot of time to collect my thoughts, but I think the biggest thing is we had some early success. Be interested to see once we go back and watch the tape how well we handled that. I won't say by any means, was it a shock to our kids, because we didn't come here with an underdog mentality. We did not. We came out here to win the football game, and obviously we didn't get that done. I just thought there in the second quarter, as a really young team playing a lot of really young people. I think the great lesson in that is we can't let one bad play become another, and if I could have anything back from the football game, just off the top of my head, sitting here being really truthfully right now, maybe a little too aggressive there, trying to go, create some momentum back and even the score up right there before the half. Obviously had the turnover, which, then we had a bust on defense that allowed them to score, and it was a really quick, kind of 14-point swing and really hurt us. But without watching the tape, I feel like in my heart our kids came out of that football game understanding that if we play our best football, we're going to be okay. And I thought we did that for a quarter, which is easy to say. I'm sure they made mistakes too, but I feel like if we can take that lesson, and really understand that if we play with incredible effort and we play with love in our hearts for each other, the good things are going to happen. And hopefully when we go back, we're able to be critical ourselves, not only our players being critical of themselves, but coaches being critical of themselves, myself being critical of themselves, and find a way to go get better, because obviously they're going to bring another team in there with opposite colored helmets, and we got to go, find a way to go get a win. Any questions?
How long have you had that opening drive scripted?
No, I mean, we're not a huge openers team. It's not like we get out there and, script the first 10 or do anything like that. Myself, Coach Miranda, the offensive staff got together early this morning and said, hey, let's just make sure that, we keep this thing nice and simple and try to minimize as much error as we can early in the game, just so we can kind of get our feet underneath us. And really it was just base football plays. And we had the quick lead there. I think it was 21-7 at one point. We had the quick lead there, and really just kind of stayed on script. They came back, kind of adjusted in the run game, started kicking some extra guys in the boundary where we kind of hurt them early. We kind of came back the field and just, some self-inflicted wounds there. And again, never once will I say self-inflicted wounds and blame it on a kid. We got to be better as coaches and ensure that they can't, make those mistakes. But, we kind of had that thing scripted really. In my brain, I kind of knew what we wanted to do probably on Thursday morning, but just really put it together this morning. Those first 3 or 4 drives, and then we always do the second half as well. Know what we want to get to in the second half. We just came out in the second half and didn't execute very well.
How do you think? You have to watch the tape and all that. A quick snapshot of your thoughts on how Randall did in his first start.
I thought he did a nice job managing the game. I'll be interested to see the play where he threw the interception there on the sideline in 2 minutes, just to kind of see, where his eyes in the right place, kind of what his thoughts were on the ball, how that thing played out. But I thought he played a really solid football game, especially knowing that he hadn't played a lot of football, but I thought he did a really nice job managing the football game. A couple balls we'd like to have back. There's a deep ball there. We run by a guy and just don't hook up. But I'm proud of him and how he played. But the tape will tell us the story.
So then play Brito at the end. Was that just to see what these guys at the end of the game, or was that indicative of who's starting the future?
No. And again, just like I told Randall on the sideline, Randall West's going to be the quarterback next week. There's not a controversy. There's not, I'm not putting any, it wasn't, hey, you did a poor job, get out of here. But, hopefully in the next few days, Brito's waiver goes through, which would make him a 3 for 3 as opposed to a 2 for 2, and if that happens, we got to make sure when we get in situations, this is still a developmental program. We played a lot of guys tonight. There was you look out there and we've got freshman walk-on Jonathan Weir. We got freshman D linemen all over the place. We got freshman Josh Wallace out there. We got freshman O.C. Johnson out there. We got Kevin Brown. We had a lot of young players on the field, and that's on purpose. We want to play a lot of guys. We got to develop our program. 2 or 3 years from now, we got to look up and we've got to have a battle-hardened, experienced football team that's prepared to go change this program.
From the second quarter on, they were winning the line of scrimmage. Did they do anything?
I thought, that they made one or two, adjustments in a run game, and again, that's stuff you got to see on tape, and really understand, because sometimes, coaches, create some ghosts of their own, just because things don't go the way they had been going. But again, I think it comes down to execution skill, and that's what we got to continue to practice every day and make sure that when we get in those situations, and they may make a change, we still have to be able to execute well. And so, we just got a lot of work to do, and that's what we're going to go back to doing.
What was it like for you walking around on the field before the game, finally your first game second program?
I'm not a very sentimental guy, especially when it comes to me. My dad, who's no longer here with us, he instilled in me from a very, very, very young age, and sometimes very, very, very painfully, that it ain't about me, and so I just wanted to make sure that we gave our kids a first-class experience, and that they understand that no matter what the school board says, is that we love them. We're going to continue to invest in them, and but there weren't a lot of deep breath moments, or look at me, or I'm so proud of myself. That's not how I'm built. It's others first, and that's how we want our kids to be, and that's what we're going to build our program around.
Obviously, you were able to get Cam, 9 carries, many of which were between the tackles. What do you think about kind of him stepping up and kind of taking that backup role?
No, I thought Cam did a really nice job. Before the half there are, some poor ball security moments that we have to get coached up, knowing that's something that we do every day, and we are maniacal about. No, I thought he did a very admirable job. And then, knowing that now, especially Kevin Brown coming in there at the end and has some really physical runs, and now you feel like you got 3 backs that have a chance to really help you, which will allow us to kind of use Cam in a more multi-purpose tool role, and use him in the backfield and get him out of the backfield, and hopefully create some matchups for himself. But I'm really proud of Cam. You want to talk about what our team's about, and egoless and selfless, and about the team. I mean, for a kid that's been a wideout his whole life and a punt returner, to ask him to go back there because we've got some, some significant depth issues. I'm proud of Cam, and I'm glad the ball found him.
Defensively, I know you'll have to watch to get a better sense of some of the breakdowns, but were there things that kind of caught your eye in that first half that kind of allowed maybe some of the open receivers there?
Yeah, on 2 of the big plays, we had busting coverage. And I wish I could say that, I wish I knew that. Let me rephrase. I wish I could be very singular in blame, but that's never on a kid. Never in this program will you ever hear me say that this kid did this. I'll never throw one of my children under the bus. And so we've got to do a better job seeing signals. We've got to receive signals. We've got to execute the play call. We've got to do a better job signaling. And so that's a team thing, but we're going to go back to work, and we will get that corrected.
On the defense, what can you say of the performance there, Rod? Multiple interceptions and rather really sparking the return game.
Yeah, no, he is a dynamic returner, and there's going to be games that he can change as long as those 10 guys in front of him believe and play with unbelievable effort. And if they stay on their guy, he's going to make some really special things happen. There's no doubt about that. He's a dynamic returner. Number 2, I thought Isaiah, again, he had some really big plays, and got us out of some jams and really kind of kept that thing within arm's length for as long as he possibly could. It'll be interesting when we go back on tape and see how well he actually played. Sometimes the ball finds you, and, you don't play great, and sometimes, the ball never finds you, and you played your best football. So I think there's room for improvement all around, not just Isaiah, but the entire defense, and we're going to go back to work and get that done.
Is there anything that you saw that was sort of keeping you guys from getting a lot of pressure with the pass rush? Going down the thing, right went down this sort of trip.
Yeah, no, we've got a lot of work to do. Not only from a program and a foundational standpoint, from a recruiting standpoint, and those are the guys that are hard to find. And that's why every single day we invest the way we invest in recruiting, because we've got to go find some pass rush. And as always, we're throwing the kitchen sink at those guys. We're probably a lot of man pressure there. Trying to find ways to get home and but we got to do a better job. We got to help our kids. It's never good enough to come off the football field and say that we just weren't good enough. It's not a good answer. We got to find a way or make a way, and so that's something that has to improve. But that's a that's going to be a process, but I can promise you we will get there.
Coach, on the subject of
Last question.
Coach, on the subject of the defense, obviously, you guys had some problems with the pass rushing itself. What did you really see from the Rutgers offensive line tonight?
I thought those guys did a great job. And hopefully in 4 years, how long has Coach Ash been here? 4 years, I believe.
Yeah, he's got one more year.
Yeah. Well, holy. All right, man. Calm down. Calm down. We ain't in the firing business. Yeah, but no, they're in their 4th year of their program. This is probably, their best group of big people. And hats off to those guys. I thought they played a really good game up front. And maybe not even physically, who knows how well they played, but at least from a schematic standpoint, didn't cut guys free, didn't cut anybody loose. They played a really solid football game, and hats off to their offensive coordinator, their line coach. Thought they did a great job.
I don't know if you guys could have played a better first quarter offensively. What was working so well for you guys in the first quarter?
I think the pace was good. We had them off balance, on their heels, and when we were playing fast, they were getting tired, and we were able to exploit some opportunities off of run pass options, and able to push the ball a little bit down the field of Kyle Horn on that first drive. So I think really the tempo and the speed that we were playing with was great.
On the flip side, last 3 quarters weren't necessarily good for you guys. What adjustments did Rutgers make that kind of gave you guys a little bit of trouble?
They just came out with a different sense of urgency in the second quarter and the second half, and they played hard. They fitted up looks, played us hard in the run, and they covered well in the second half, and they really pinned their ears back and came after us. So I think there's some things. We'll just look at the tape and get prepared for SIU next week.
Jake, how much of strength kind of was it tonight in the trenches on both sides of the ball for you?
I feel like both teams, O-line, D-line, played pretty hard. Their O-line's well coached. We played pretty hard out there. So we're gonna take a look at the film and just see what we can improve on. But yeah, they played pretty well in front.
For Isaiah, sort of defensively in the secondary, the line games were mostly just sort of an issue of busted coverages, or what would you say about that?
Would have been like the first game. I feel like we were out there just overthinking, just trying to do their job, and then overthinking and doing stuff they're not supposed to do. And we just was out there just overthinking. And we came back in the second half and responded.
Do you think it was an improvement?
Yeah. Yes, of course.
Only 10 points allowed in the second half and 3 total interceptions. What can you say to the defensive locker in terms of the film study that you guys have to do in the future?
Coach was just telling us to have faith, so we just came out and responded, and we just played hard, played very smart to the very end. That's pretty much.
For any of you guys, when you see Coach Bell, and he goes for it twice on 4th down in the first drive, comes out in the second half and goes for an onside kick, what type of confidence does it inspire in you guys when you see a coach kind of willing to take some of those risks to win the game?
I think it's pretty important because it shows that he believes in us. And, he chooses to do that, and he believes that we can make that play. So I think it's huge, and it definitely helps our confidence. So I think that definitely helps us out.
That first 4th down, it seemed like you were scrambling a little bit. Walk me through that play and kind of where Cam kind of entered your vision to kind of flip it off to him.
It's normal. It's a play that we've run all spring, all summer, all fall camp, and went to the first read, didn't have it, stepped up in the pocket, and they were all dropping, and he just sort of came into my vision. So I could have ran for it, or I could have threw it to Cam. I'd rather have the ball in his hands. He's a better playmaker than I am. So yeah, just dumped it off to him, and he made a great play, got the first down, and kept the drive alive.
First quarter, it seemed like the Rutgers rush was starting to come through pretty consistently. How did that affect your decision making and your ability to go through progression with the quarterback?
I try not to think about that. I try to think about my job, which is for each play, certain looks, it's my job to go out there and execute Coach Bell and Coach Mirando and all the offensive staff have laid out for us. So obviously your progression changes when you have pressure, but it's also a quarterback's job to be able to manage that and put your team in the best position possible to stay ahead of the chains and be able to convert third downs and keep the chains moving.
Okay, we've talked a lot this summer about the workouts you guys put in the weight room with Coach Steve, and kind of like you guys practice at a high pace, and that should help your condition. Did you feel that effect on the field? Did you feel like you guys were maybe fresher on the rush than you would have been maybe at this time last year?
I mean, I definitely feel like we're in better shape now, and I feel great about moving forward, about what we're capable of doing with the guys that we have and the depth that we have now. So I mean, we're just gonna look at the film and just see what we can correct with the little mistakes that we made. But I do feel good about all the work that we put in the summer and then how we feel on the field. So I'm pretty confident moving forward.
Say for you to get those two interceptions in the second half, how important was that? You're not one that obviously loses confidence very easily, but I mean, how important was it for your confidence to be able to kind of bounce back maybe after a rougher first half and get those two interceptions in the second half?
I just have my brothers around me just telling me, just keep faith and just keep playing, next play mentality. Because I was down at a moment, then I had the kick return, felt like I could have scored. So I was just very frustrated. And I had the brothers around me and coaches around me just telling me, like, keep my head up and just keep playing. So they got me back right and then made the 2 plays.
Having fun on the kick returns?
Yeah, it's fun. Love it.